Secretary Scott Bessent goes on CNN and absolutely schools Dana Bash on every lie and talking point that the radical left is trying to push on the American people about Trump's big, beautiful bill. I'm going to share with you some amazing clips here. It's education time, folks. Anybody that you know out there that's bad-mouthing the big, beautiful bill or just really talking nonsense about it, doesn't know anything that they're talking about, this is the video that you can share with them because the dignified, virtuous. I love this guy because I think he really is one of the all-stars of the cabinet. We have an amazing America First cabinet, but this guy in particular, the Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, I just love the way he delivers this. It is absolutely beautiful. But first, I want to just send out a heartfelt prayer, and I want to send all my best wishes out to Kerrville, Texas, everybody in the surrounding areas who has just been suffering unceasingly because of these floods in the Guadalupe River. I just want to say I'm sending my thoughts. I'm sending my prayers out to you. I hope for the best. Godspeed. May God bless you guys with peace and rebuilding. And as a father, as a citizen, especially as a father, I can't even imagine the pain that you guys are going through. So everybody in the comments right now, send a huge heartfelt prayer for everybody who's suffering right now in Texas. We are with you, and we hope for a speedy recovery of all the damages and a whole lot more. I mean, I don't even know. It's really hard to even talk about it. I just can't imagine. We love you and we pray for you. Speaking of that, speaking of hypocrite propagandist media, I want you to watch this. Dana Bash, 2 weeks after the North Carolina flood last year, when it became painfully clear that the federal response was inadequate, Dana Bash was viciously defending Biden and Kamala and calling any attacks a politicalization. Only 2 days after the Texas flood, she's already trying to blame Trump for the disaster. Check out this amazing video by Maze Moore. It's beautiful. Watch this.
Former president is falsely accusing federal relief agencies of maliciously withholding and misusing aid. Take a listen.
We give foreign countries hundreds of billions of dollars, and we're handing North Carolina $750. If you want a president who won't even try to save you when the floodwaters are rising, vote for Kamala.
What you just heard is not true. They're rumors and they're lies, and they are hurting the very people that thousands of FEMA emergency responders are trying to help. It's raw politics and dangerous politics. A lot of the people who are believing these lies are Trump voters. Why is he spreading misinformation in a crisis like that? And does that concern you about your fellow North Carolinians?
You have migrants being housed in luxury hotels in New York City. We have paid so much money from our tax dollars into the crisis that didn't need to happen. We could redirect money to help people immediately on the ground in North Carolina.
Laura, they're saying that they have
probably going to have a situation coming up in the next several days.
That's a separate tranche of money. That's a separate tranche of money. Just talking about the federal government and even the local government, 2 Texas National Weather Service offices involved in forecasting and warning about flooding on the Guadalupe River are missing some key staff members. A director of the NWS union told CNN that the Austin San Antonio office is missing a warning coordination meteorologist due to the Trump administration's buyouts. Do you have any indication whether those or other cuts helped play a role in the fact that the people in the flood zone were not prepared and certainly not evacuated?
Not only is Dana Bash wrong, I mean unequivocally wrong. This is the Associated Press right here saying, you can look in the highlighted parts, had extra staff on duty during the storms. The Weather Service actually had extra staff, not less. Not only is she unbelievably wrong, but she's just an undeniable hypocrite, which is why I call them the hypocrite media apparatus, propagandist media. This is why I call the Democrats hypocrites. When trees breathe, oxygen comes out. When human beings breathe, carbon dioxide comes out. When Democrats breathe, lies come out. Sometimes I think to myself, like, are they just really, really incompetent? Or do they think that we're just stupid and we're not going to remember? Or do they not care at all? I'm kind of leaning on number 3. They just don't care. They literally just don't care. They will do anything imaginable to help their cause, to feed their maniacal, empty-headed, violent base. Very violent. Democrats are the most violent. By the way, have you ever wondered why there isn't a single Democrat on Mount Rushmore? Have you ever thought about that? Neither have I, because it doesn't surprise me. Okay, let's get to the good stuff. Scott Bessent, Secretary of Treasury, absolutely educates and obliterates. Oh, I'm not supposed to use that word anymore because Trump pretty much coined it. This idea of work requirements on Medicaid, and why in the world would you ever implement something like that in the big, beautiful bill? Watch this.
I'm sure you've seen and heard a lot of the concern, including and especially from Republicans who are the most vocal in Congress, about the fact that those work requirements are going to be very cumbersome to actually prove, and it will inevitably force the people who need that Medicaid coverage off the rolls.
Well, first of all, the Republicans are not the most vocal on this. It is a group of Democrats who unfortunately seem to think that poor people are stupid. I don't think poor people are stupid. I think they have agency, and I think to have them register twice a year for these benefits, that is not a burden. But these people who want to infantilize the poor and those who need these Medicaid benefits are alarmist.
Yeah, but my impression of the Republican Party is that historically you've wanted to cut through the red tape and not create more red tape. But I do want to move on because...
Well, no. But we've also wanted to put in work requirements, which somehow that was very popular under Bill Clinton, was popular under President Obama, and this Democratic Party blew out the deficit in 2020, and they never want to bring it back. But work requirements even poll well with the median Democratic voter, maybe not the fringe.
And Scott Bessent is 1,000,000,000% right. You know, the Democrat Party wasn't quite as nutty and out of touch as they are right now, especially these radical progressives, the Squad, the Crockett's, the AOCs, Ayanna Pressley, the Maxine Waters, the Hakeem Nobody's Dream, Automaton, Put You to Sleep, Insomnia Cure, Jeffries. They were actually kind of normal back then, which is why I called the last election the most consequential election of our lives, because these guys are nuts. And I have proof to back it up. Your boy Nez did a little bit of digging. Check out this clip of Bill Clinton, who literally sounds exactly like a sensible, reasoned, logical lawmaker. Watch.
Nearly 30 years ago, Robert Kennedy said, "Work is the meaning of what this country is all about. We need it as individuals, we need to sense it in our fellow citizens, and we need it as a society and as a people." He was right then, and it's right now. From now on, our nation's answer to this great social challenge will no longer be a never-ending cycle of welfare. It will be the dignity, the power, and the ethic of work. Today we are taking an historic chance to make welfare what it was meant to be, a second chance, not a way of life. This bill will help people to go to work so they can stop drawing a welfare check and start drawing a paycheck. It is now clearly better to go to work than to stay on welfare. Clearly better. Because of actions taken by the Congress in this session, it is clearly better to end the terrible, almost physical isolation of huge numbers of poor people and their children from the rest of mainstream America. We have to do that. Today we are ending welfare as we know it, but I hope this day will be remembered not for what it ended, but for what it began. A new day that offers hope, honors responsibility, rewards work, and changes the terms of the debate.
For too many, welfare has been a way of life. For too long, it has condemned too many on welfare to a lifetime at the margins of our society. Today, we start to change all that.
Anyone who wants to receive welfare must sign an individual responsibility contract so that they are forced to agree up front to the conditions placed on receiving the benefit, and so that they will have a plan from day one on how to get themselves off of welfare, put them to work. And make them want to go to work and make it reasonable for them to go to work. It'd be a mandatory work requirement for anyone receiving welfare.
They actually have charged and run ads saying that President Obama wants to weaken the work requirements in the welfare reform bill I signed that moved millions of people from welfare to work. Oh, wait, the requirement was for more work, not less. I am telling you, the claim that President Obama weakened welfare reform's work requirement is just not true.
What changed? Honestly, what changed with you guys? Why have you guys become such radical, lunacy driven? I mean, so left. You're left of the Bolsheviks now. What happened to you? There's a reason why you have the lowest approval rating in the history of your party, in the history of politics. I did a lot of digging and I found hundreds of videos. I can't play the music, but I want to share with you this video I found on TikTok of this woman celebrating inside Walmart once she got her EBT check for $3,000, spending over $400. Oh, actually, she says spending $3,000 in food stamps at Walmart. I don't know about you, but this person looks pretty able-bodied to me. Judge for yourself. She's singing and dancing in Walmart, saying she's spending our $3,000 in food stamps at Walmart with joy, with glee in the actual line itself. And I'm telling you, I found hundreds, there's probably thousands, if not more videos just like this all over the place. You think you're going to see that on CNN? You think you're going to see it on ABC, CBS, NBC, any of the other PBS, any of the other woke, Hippocratic, propagandist media machines? Of course you won't. You're only going to see that here. Here's another lie propagated by CNN asking Scott Bessent about the richest Americans are going to see their income rise while poor people or the lowest earning Americans are going to see their income drop. Watch this.
The Yale Budget Lab says the richest Americans will see their income rise by nearly 2%. The lowest earning Americans will see their income drop by 3% when factoring in cuts to Medicaid and food stamps. You argue that the benefits will really be aimed at the middle class. How does that square?
Well, Dana, first, let's have a look at the Yale Budget Lab, because I was looking at their findings, and this week I actually went on their website. They're all ex-Biden officials, so I think we can discount everything they say. I'd encourage all your viewers to look at the composition of both the board and the staff, and it's just not right that what we have here is a middle class and working class bill, that we are going to see wages accelerate, and we are going to see, just as we saw with President Trump's first tax bill, we are making permanent these tax cuts. And what happened in 2017, 2018 was the highest wage earners went from paying 37% of all taxes to 45%. So that's going to be permanent now. So permanently, the highest 10% will pay a higher percent of the taxes.
Here is a clip of Scott Bessent schooling Dana Bash on the 20% hike over 10-year cut to Medicaid funding, which will go up 20% over the next 10 years. Watch this.
How is making cuts on Medicaid programs?
Well,
how does that and how it affects the people who are at the lowest ranking when it comes to income? How does that help with the affordability crisis in America?
Well, first of all, that affordability and saving Medicaid, let's separate those. And only in DC is a 20% hike over 10 years a cut. So Medicaid funding will go up 20% over the next 10 years. The people who Medicaid were designed for, the pregnant women, the disabled, and families with children under 14 will be refocused. The able-bodied Americans are not vulnerable Americans, so a work requirement or a community service requirement, that's very popular with the public, and many state programs have that now.
The president promised that there would not be changes to Medicaid benefits, and putting a work requirement is By definition, a change to benefits.
No, there are no change in benefits. There's a change in requirements to get the benefits. And what we are doing, we are bringing back manufacturing jobs. We are bringing back working class jobs. By securing the border, we have already seen working class wages move up. So we are creating jobs. People can get off Medicaid and get a job that has good health care benefits.
Class dismissed, Dana. Can you imagine if this was on the other foot? Can you imagine if Obama or a Democrat came up with this big, beautiful bill? All the added measures put in there, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, fortifying the border, actually allowing the deportation of illegal, the key word is illegal, aliens, a lot of them criminal. He's focusing on criminals, taking them off our streets, making America safe again, as well as all the stuff applied to MAHA, making America healthy again, prosperous, the tariffs, the border. It's incredible. The economy. We just added 140,000 jobs in June. I mean, it's insane to me. The level of hypocrisy that they will engage in. I can't wait to get your comments on this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do me a favor. Tap that thumbs up. It doesn't cost you a thing. I want our content to be free forever. It helps us out immeasurably. Share this, comment. I see you looking at this one-of-a-kind made in the USA design. You can get it in our shop in the link below. Make sure you go check that out, as well as our free newsletters there. If you haven't already, make sure you check out these videos coming up on the screen right here, just in case you missed them. Tap my face right here to subscribe and follow. It's absolutely free. And as always, may God bless you, and may God bless the USA and all who defend her. I'll see you soon.